Hello guys and gals, it is Soulfax here. Welcome to another episode of Mondays with Soulfax. Yes, it is Monday and this episode is going to be out on Monday, I hope. I really do hope. Anyhow, have you got your coffee? I hope you got your coffee because I got mine. So, let's get started. What happened this week? Well, not a lot of things happened, I gotta tell you. I usually have a lot of things in store to tell you about, but this week I'm just kind of mad-libbing this. I don't have a lot of topics. I might talk about some stuff, might not talk about them. Okay, that's just a very weird sentence. Anyhow, yesterday on Sunday I was supposed to stream for a couple of hours, but a couple of things happened. So firstly, again, for some reason OBS was not cooperating with me. I just couldn't get the game to be streamed. I tried to stream and for some reason I would stream my desktop completely fine, but when it came time to stream the actual game, and in this case it was Battlefield 1, for some reason I would just get a blank screen. From what I've read and from my experience with playing around with OBS, it is a thing that happens sometimes. Now, I tried to transition over and streaming via the NVIDIA Shadowplay thingy that I do have on my NVIDIA graphics card. But again, that is not very optimal because for some reason I lose frames when I do that, and it just doesn't set the bitrate correctly and the video looks strange, and it doesn't look very good when I stream it with NVIDIA Share. So I just kind of gave up. I'm sorry to say that, but I just kind of gave up. I'm gonna try it next weekend. And also, my father was home the entire night, so that's kind of a problem. I never talked about this on the video before, and I'm not going to do it today. Maybe in some other video. But yeah, so unfortunately I couldn't stream this Sunday, which kind of disappointed both me and probably some of you that were looking for that stream. I know at least one person was looking forward to the stream, and he is a friend of mine, so yeah. Kind of disappointing, but what else has happened? Well, I played through Dark Souls 3 in its entirety. I finished the game and I got, I would say, the good ending. I think that is the good ending when you look at in it from the context of the player character. So I just don't want to spoil it too much for you, but the whole team of the three Dark Souls games, that is Dark Souls 1, 2 and 3, were whether or not you're going to link the fire or you're going to let the fire die out and then usher in the Age of Dark and hence ushering in the Age of Men. I decided to usher in the Age of Dark. I let the fire die out and I killed the Firekeeper because I accidentally pressed the R1 when I figure out that I can actually walk around, and I wanted to see what happens if I strike the Firekeeper, and then I got the weirdest, most it's just horrible cutscene where the player character steps on the Firekeeper's head and takes the little flame she took from the bonfire from which I was supposed to link the flame. So yeah, not my finest moment, but why I'm telling you this is because Dark Souls 3 is a great game, and it really is a great game. They added a lot of things in this game, as one of the things that I really like about Dark Souls 3 is they added the FP meter or the mana meter, so you're not limited on the amounts of charges your spells have, but you can just recharge your FP and you can throw out as many fireballs and as many soul arrows as you want in theory, because there are items that regenerate your FP. But still, this game doesn't feel, the ending wasn't really great. Again, don't want to spoil it too much for you, but the last boss that you fight against is the Soul of Cinder. From what I've gathered, it is the accumulated soul of all the people that have linked the fire in the past. That includes Lord Gwyn, that includes your player character from Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, even though those games do not sit chronologically on the same timeline. But I do assume they count in that guy, because throughout the battle, he tends to change his main weapon, and when he changes his main weapon, he changes his complete fighting style, which mirrors the fighting style of, I wouldn't say player characters throughout the history of the Dark Souls video games, it just mirrors the fighting style of certain weapons. And it's, you know, in its own right, it's a decent boss fight, because the arena looks great, the boss himself looks amazing, he's got some really amazing visuals, and the music is just amazing, but it's just way too easy. Again, to give you some context, I have played throughout most of the, well, not most, excuse me, all of the main game areas, and I've gotten 2 weapons upgraded to +10 with refined gems in them, which means that I got the Lothric Knight Longsword, which at +4 gets B scaling on strength and dexterity, which is amazing. And I had 40 dex and I had 30 strength, so I was really good at that point in time, my character was very strong and I did a lot of damage to that guy, so the fight was over too soon in my opinion. Although he does have an amazingly huge health pool, and when you kill him once, he just regenerates his health pool and just changes to, I would say, a sword that resembles the great sword of Gwen, because it does a lot of fire damage. And it's just kind of disappointing. I was expecting something else, but the ending cutscene where you decide to let the flame die out is just brilliant. I really, really loved it. Now, one of the reasons why I'm kind of happy that I played through Dark Souls 3 is because I can finally start focusing on making videos and playing some other games. Because so far, ever since I downloaded Dark Souls 3, I sit down on my computer and the first thought that goes through my head is, I gotta play Dark Souls 3. I have to play Dark Souls 3. And now that I've played through it, I can finally put it to rest for at least a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks and months, and play through it some other time. I was tempted to start a new game plus as soon as I played through the game and reset all of my stats and try a different character, but really no, I gotta focus on making videos because this Friday I'm supposed to release the next episode of Witcher Lore, and I haven't even done the script just yet, so it's going to be a little tight, but I am 90% sure that I'm going to be able to release it on a Friday. This is going to be the episode of Witcher Lore on Friday. Is going to be slightly shorter than the usual episodes that I produce, so it's going to be under 10 minutes. Now, the reason why this last episode of Witcher Lore, well, okay, let me just rephrase that, not the last episode of Witcher Lore, but the last episode of the world history of Witcher Lore is going to be slightly shorter than my average episode, so under 10 minutes. I expect it to be around 6 to 7 minutes long, which I know is going to be a little short for some people, but some people are going to enjoy it more than the 13-minute episodes that I did in the past. Okay, back to the actual topic. The main reason is because on one side, for the Northern Kingdoms, there's a lot to be said about how the borders of the Northern Kingdoms and it's not an official coalition, it's just how people call these kingdoms that are north of I think those are the Alma Mountains or the Alma River, some of those things. Anyhow, there is a lot to be said about how the kingdoms that are a part of the Northern Kingdoms came to be, and the history of warfare between these kingdoms. There is a lot written about that throughout the 7 books, but the thing is, what is written about it is spread across 7 books. There is not a single chapter that focuses on the history of the Witcher universe. Literally, not a single chapter. And if I were to sit down and go through all of the 7 books and try to find the single sentences, the single paragraphs that talk about history of a single nation and try to put them in a single timeline, that would just be too much. That would literally be too much for me, and I would never be done with this video. And I think that the timeline that I would make at the end of all that research and writing would be complete and utter bullshit. I'm sorry to say that, but that is the truth. So moving on to Nilfgaard. Nilfgaard is an enigma. There is not a lot written about Nilfgaard, their politics, there's not a lot written about their culture. There is some mentions of that they have a different accent, that they are a more refined society and stuff like that, but again, there is not a lot written about their culture or the history of their royalty or how the nation itself came to be. So again, there is not a lot to write about or to tell you about. And so I'm just simply going to pull out some facts, make them sound good, and I'm going to tell you about how the Northern Kingdom looks, how Nilfgaard looks, what are the differences between the 2 kingdoms, and how the 3 Nilfgaardian wars came to happen. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just don't know what to talk about else in this episode of Mondays with Soulfax. Yeah, my name is Soulfax, hope you enjoyed this video. This Friday, please expect the next episode of Witcher Lore World History, episode 3, yes, I almost forgot what episode I was on. Until next Monday, I hope you enjoy your week, and I will see you next Monday. Bye bye.